Nikola Tesla's ethereal technology, the electric universe. He did not believe the universe was an empty void, a vacuum. Nikola Tesla discovered and applied the fundamental law that increases the potential of ether. The ancient Greeks also believed that the universe was filled with ether, plasma. The law that will structure the initial infinite, compact, and perfectly homogeneous ether. And to understand this, we simplify it. Man is an automatic cosmic force. The energy is everywhere and in abundance, but we are thirsty. We look like someone on a boat sailing in a river, but dying of thirst because he doesn't have a glass to drink. We must intelligently provide the energy we need without consuming raw materials. This is what Nikola Tesla said in Century Magazine, 1890. Tesla Tower Space-Time Portal, Dr. Velimir Abramovich. The Tesla Tower in 1903 produced free energy, but also created space gates in parallel worlds. In other words, like a time portal. Now, why didn't he ever finish it? A plan far ahead of its time. The only test of the Tesla Tower, ether technology Tesla. Free energy and space gates. Space portals. The mysteries of explaining the physics lies in the metaphysical. New physics and Tesla, the secret core of the universe. I'm translating from a Greek article. Dr. Velimir Abramovich is said to be the world's greatest expert on Nikola Tesla's work and ideas. And also, I have to remind you, this is also from translated from a Serbian article into Greek, and I'm translating that Greek into English. Dr. Velimir Abramovich is said to be the world's greatest expert on Nikola Tesla's work and ideas. Indeed, if you put his name on Google, you will be amazed at how many pages mention his name. This Serbian philosopher, director, physicist, professor of the history of ideas and the concept of time and space and material, in the 1990s at the Center for Interdisciplinary Studies at the University of Belgrade, founder of the private School of Thought, Institute for the Science of Time, which is a seminar on applied metaphysics. In 2004, he became a member of the Russian Interdisciplinary Seminar on Time at the renowned Lomonosov University in Moscow, and in 2009, he writes a monograph for Nikola Tesla titled Svetlost Koja se ne gasi. In 2012, after surviving the end of the world after 37 years of research, he begins work on the theories of the principles of science of time, whose main assumption is that the eternal now, whose mathematical models are completeness and zero, is the only time of physical reality. The eternal now. This hypothesis leads to a revision of power, mass, and energy, and experiments in controlling the temporal properties of the physical and biological system appear to be the most forbidden results in the history of science. In the summer of 2014, again, we met at his home in Barajevo Forest, 37 kilometers south of Belgrade, where he works on the basic principles of science for time. There he also gave us his latest book, Tesla, The Evolution of Human Consciousness, which caused us, especially us Cellians, Teslas, great interest, so we decided to share one of the strongest chapters with you. After deciding to start building the huge Long Island broadcaster Wardenclyffe, Nikola Tesla sought the financial help of the mighty industrial and big banker J.P. Morgan, who was known as a great genius in the business activities of his time, but also a member of many secret galleries, secret societies. We have to keep in mind that Morgan was already suffering from cancer, and that he nourished in the hope that Tesla's science would help him survive. That is, he hoped that with Tesla's help, he would somehow be able to connect with the cosmic energy and not only become healthy again, but also young forever. But Tesla was far from calculating Morgan's weaknesses. On the contrary, the facts show that Tesla's insistence on Morgan being the one to support the whole of Long Island business was related to Tesla's general perception of life. So he believed that some people are predestined to do specific things in their lives. Negotiations on Wardenclyffe among older friends were difficult and secretive. No one knows for sure even today when Tesla decided to start building the tower, nor exactly what Morgan, as an experienced businessman, expected from it. A design from its age? Twice, Tesla publicly changed his statements about the purpose of his Long Island tower. First, it claimed to be the global wireless telephone and telegraph system, and then changed it and said it was the global wireless energy transmission system through the Earth. But the technical features of Wardenclyffe do not confirm either. A trace of the truth may be found in a letter he sent to Morgan. Quote, "What I envision, Mr. Morgan, is not just the transmission of messages over long distances without cables, but more of a transformation of the whole planet into a sentient being, something our planet is capable of feeling, with all its parts and means from which thought shines as in the brain." This is from microfilm letter, Tesla to J.P. Morgan, September 13, 1901. It's in the Library of Congress. There were many writers, especially Tesla's biographers, who accused Morgan of refusing to help Tesla with financial aid just when he was on the verge of his greatest scientific breakthrough, when the biggest masterpiece needed to be completed and put into operation. By that we mean the tower in Wardenclyffe. I myself have dealt with this issue and have come to the following conclusion. First, the success of the Long Island transmitter project did not depend solely on Morgan's subsidies, as money was then offered by other industrialists at the time. After all, Tesla himself couldn't make enough money by selling his medical devices, which were based on high-frequency currents, to secure the money he needed. Secondly, the tower at Wardenclyffe was completed and tested, and the extra money it was seeking was spent on building a power plant to power the transmitter. In his autobiography, Tesla is very clear about this. Quote, "Despite what people say, Morgan has fulfilled all his obligations to me. My work was delayed because of natural laws. The world was not ready for this yet. It was well ahead of its time in which it was created. But in the end, these laws themselves will prevail and the work will be repeated with triumphant success." End quote. My Inventions, Nikola Tesla, Electrical Experiment, New York, 1919. Released in Greek by unknown and exhausted. For orders, contact tesla.plate.gr. The full force of the infamous Long Island transmitter was the opportunity for people to experience it at midnight on July 15, 1903. The citizens of New York watched an event that night as if it came from the distant future of science. The only test of the Tesla Tower. Blazing and dazzling lightning flashes of up to 100 miles in diameter united the spherical dome of Wardenclyffe in the sky. The New York Sun wrote the next day an article titled, "Tesla's Flares Intimidate," with the caption, "But he doesn't want to tell us what he's trying to do with the tower." So according to this article, neighbors living on Long Island near Tesla's lab are very interested in the nature of their experiments on wireless power transmission. Last night we witnessed strange phenomena such as the lightning of various colors with which Tesla played, literally evacuating the free energy from the atmosphere and then burning the layers of the atmosphere at various heights. All this took place on a large surface which literally turned night into day. For a few minutes, the whole room lit up and filled with sparkling electricity, focused on the outskirts of the human body, and everyone present shone a blue light. We were looking at each other with open mouths because we looked like ghosts. Tesla's original plan was to build 5 towers, similar to the one at Wardenclyffe. The second would be in Amsterdam, the third in China, and the fourth and fifth in the North and South Poles. This plan has been postponed for reasons that have not yet been investigated. But what if what was planned was achieved. Planet Earth would become a homogeneous tuning system that could be easily managed, with telephone supports and command triggering certain oscillations, which in turn would generate and transmit various frequencies of electromagnetic radiation. This electromagnetic oscillation system was further complemented by the mechanical resonance system with the Earth beneath the laboratory, and consisted of tunnels filled of oil and water, as well as hydraulic pumps used as oscillators. According to precise mathematical laws, the synchronized operation of the two systems could suddenly make the diluted stratosphere, ionosphere, and atmosphere vibrate, as well as the liquid and solid structures of our entire planet. In an interview with the New York Sun on July 17, 1903, Nikola Tesla exacerbates the mystery surrounding Wardenclyffe by saying this, quote, "People living around Wardenclyffe who were so amazed at my experiments 2 days ago, if they had been awake for the last 2 years instead of sleeping, could experience truly amazing things. Once, but not now. I'll post details of something not even described in fairy tales," end quote. 2 years after that strange night in which, with his inventions, he burned not only the sky over New York, but also over the Atlantic Ocean, Tesla suddenly left his lab. So in 1905, for no apparent reason, he leaves his workshop from which, as far as he is known, he took absolutely nothing. Not a pin, no drawing, no paper, and never went there again. This was the most critical point of his public scientific work. He lived for another 40 years and was constantly working, but only recorded inventions in engineering and publishing articles. Aesthetic technology of Tesla's technology of the ether that fills up the whole of the universe. Tesla discovered and applied the fundamental laws that increases the potential of ether, the law that will structure the initially infinite, compact, and perfectly homogeneous ether. To understand this, we will simplify it. It is a principle of the independence of the parts of an infinite set of one single physical continuum. This continuation of the same natural phenomena in today's scientific terminology is called in Latin continuum, but also zero or infinite, total. Elemental being is one, eternal and indivisible, Euclidean point, void, etc. The parts of a continuum are created according to a special algorithm that separates them so that they remain at the same time, that is, infinity, and this is what we call electromagnetic entities or light. Assuming that ether is a continuous and primary medium of the universe, it follows that the center of the universe does not exist, but is everywhere and indefinable. And not only that, but the law of the universe's construction corresponds, that is, it corresponds to the law that determines the relation of all points of its concentric spheres. Here it's not possible to go into a deeper analysis of this law, whose essence requires the use of language of philosophical ontology and mathematics. It's not known if Tesla has experienced this theory in this form, but he's left some machines that work, at least for modern physics, with completely unexplainable principles. This is the etheric generator, that is, the electromagnetic sphere with always the same electrical potential regardless of the output, that is, the output of energy. Also for the asynchronous motor that operates with the gravitational waves of our solar system, the engine starts itself at certain times of the year, reacting to a particular constellation of planets, and also stops running when the coordinated time period ends. He has also developed a well-known purple Tesla plate whose healing properties have been tested by millions of people. In addition, it has left the float a metal disc with anti-gravitational properties that is muted to the height depending on the gravity of the particular field. The ethereal space is infinite and it's in all directions. Ether exists in all directions and everywhere. It is only one characteristic, r, the radius, that according to the universal law integrates the spherical parts of the continuum, parts of which are fragmented and precise. Parts of the structured ether can be synchronized and asynchronized and asynchronous. In the first case, there is a condensation of the subatomic particles such as electrons, protons, and neutrons. These particles are formed by the coordinated synthesis of photons with the same principles by which photons are dependent as separate entities in the ether. Synchronized, that is, the uncoordinated parts of ether are nothing but the space in which coordinated photons create matter. Tesla's tower at Wardenclyffe was a Pythagorean oscillator. Pythagoras, the ancient mathematicians of ancient Greece. It was a Pythagorean oscillator. The mathematics of the transmission of complex electromagnetic waves with special characteristics were identical to the secret creative Pythagorean mathematics. The symbols Tesla wrote in his equations had a clear physical interpretation. Tesla's ether technology has principles based on the level of universal existence. This level also promotes the management of space and time. It's not the tower itself, as the principles of coordination and harmonious oscillation of ether that are so strong, that by understanding and applying them, they can solve, without a doubt, all the basic problems of modern physics, such as energy conversion. With his own vacuum tube, Tesla produced electrons, protons, and neutrons directly from the physical continuum, creating them at any distance. Instead of letting the proton beam travel through space to a particular location, it created the conditions for instant creation of an arbitrary number of particles at any distance. The size of electrons, protons, and neutrons was also limited by nothing, just their different size, because they are building blocks of every world in the universe, is the reason for the shift of time between parallel worlds, which all belong to the same continuum. I think this is enough for the first part. The second part will be Tesla, free energy, and space-time gates. In other words, what we would call stargates. That will be the second part and the last part of this article. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.